good news for our next guest, Elliotte Friedman, is that the company that he works for just did a 12-year national rights deal extension. The bad news is they're going to have to take a portion of that money out of his $5 million a year contract as being one of the top analysts in the business. How you doing, Elliotte?
I'm good, Bob. Yeah, it was funny because my buddies were joking with me. They're going to say they can't afford to pay you now, so that's the way it's going to go.
Well, somehow I doubt that. I like your chances.
I appreciate that.
You know what? I know you commented a couple days ago on this, so and look, I flew back with the team today, and Connor and Leon skated yesterday in Anaheim at practice, which was a good sign. Connor skated every day that we were, that the team skated on the road. Stuart Skinner and Matthias Ekholm back at Edmonton with John Klingberg. Trent Frederick played less than 7 minutes against the Kings, and according to Chris Knobloch, it'll be out a while. Have you heard anything at all about when some of these guys might return? What are you hearing?
Well, I think Connor's going to be this week. The only way that I kind of heard that it might change somehow was, just after the loss to LA the other day, and now the loss to Anaheim. It's just, I think some people wondered if that might affect the timeline a bit one way or the other. But I think you put him in when you feel it's right for him to play. So I think it's going to be this week. Initially I was told it wouldn't be Monday. That was true. And then we'll see.
Yeah.
So, the one thing, Bob, at this time of year, it was funny. Somebody told me yesterday Barkov wasn't going to play. He's playing tonight. And, I'm one of the guys I'm still waiting to determine here is the old Oiler Holloway, because I didn't like what I was hearing on the weekend. At this time of the year, there's so much misinformation that flies around. I basically divided into two categories.
You divided into two categories.
Divided into two categories. Am I worried about this player's availability, or am I not worried about this player's availability? That's pretty much what I do. And with McDavid, I'm not. With Draisaitl, I'm not. With Frederick, I heard what Knobloch said today. I was a little concerned about it, but now I'm less concerned about it. But I was under the impression it was going to be this week for McDavid, and the only firmness I was kind of told was it wasn't going to be Monday. So we'll see.
Have you heard anything on Ekholm or Skinner?
The only one, Ekholm was in my they're not concerned bracket. It's just rest for him. The one thing about Ekholm was he was playing when he clearly wasn't 100%.
Right.
I think the Oilers just said enough of this. We're just going to rest him, and that's what we're going to do. So he's in my not concerned bracket. Skinner, I don't know. I mean, it was ahead, right? So
yeah.
It was just I don't think, again, I think he's in the not concerned bucket, but I wouldn't put it on the timeline.
For what it's worth, Elliotte, I'm not concerned on Connor, Leon, Evander Kane for the start of the playoffs, Ekholm, and Skinner. Okay? And I need more information on Trent Frederick. But
Frederick's the one right now that initially when I heard what it sounded like after he came out of the game on Saturday or didn't play very much, I was worried about that. But, I just think in this day and age, I don't think I would be surprised if Knobloch would say what he did if he didn't have reason to believe it.
Right.
I think teams really work hard at not underestimating things at this time of the year. They'll give you a week to week. Look, Washington gave us a week to week on Protas.
Yeah.
Right now, Winnipeg gave us a week to week on Velarde, and I was concerned about him until recently. St. Louis gave us a week to week on Holloway, and I'm a little concerned there until I know more.
Yep.
But I didn't get for the way Knobloch was talking, it would surprise me if the Oilers are in panic mode here about this one.
Yeah, about Frederick you're referring to. So here's the deal, Elliotte, we're going to hit on a couple other teams. Elliotte Friedman from NHL Hockey and Rogers for Abe's Store Service. He's our Oilers Now headliner today for Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Others can try to imitate, but nobody can duplicate the great flavor of Wilhauk Beef Jerky, only available in Leduc. By the way, Trent from Wilhock Beef Jerky. Trent, just if you're listening right now, we need to hook up Koff. Koff did the show. He was our headliner yesterday. So we need to set up the coaches, if you know what I'm saying.
Koff wants to be paid in beef jerky.
Well, Koff knows how to negotiate.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. All right. So a little bit of a curveball here for you. So Toronto's got a real good team. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. I think this is the best Leafs team that they've had. However, there is a team that I think people are. I don't know do we overlook Tampa Bay at all? Look at the goal.
I don't.
Look at the goal differential.
I think they're really good.
So do I.
I think honestly, I think Tampa may be the best team in the East. I really like them. Even that trade with Seattle, like just for pure fit, I think Bjorkstrand and Gord, who they obviously know very well, like those guys really fit into their lineup. I actually think a few teams have done this really well this year. Like Toronto didn't take a big swing. Lawton got off to a bad start. I think he'll fit, but Carlo has really fit nicely. Like they've struggled finding a partner for Riley all year, and Carlo's been a really good fit for him. But I really like the Bjorkstrand and Gord fit for Tampa. I really like that team a lot. Like, you know what, Bob, I'm in Montreal tonight, and if the Canadians win tonight, they're playing here against Detroit.
It's awesome.
Like, the Eastern playoff race is basically over.
It's awesome.
So what we're looking at right now is there's more talk about, especially in that Atlantic division, individual seeding. Like, right now, Toronto's in Florida tonight, and they play Tampa tomorrow. It's a huge back-to-back that will probably – Toronto could wrap up the division with 4 points.
Right.
But if they don't, and that's a tough back-to-back, there's a lot of things that are open here. And all of a sudden, like, Ottawa's not far behind Florida. So I think some of the bigger battles down the stretch are going to be as much about seeding as they are about playoffs. And I agree with you. I think that Tampa team is really good. Really good.
So there's a guy, and we've got Brian Lawton coming up, as you know, after you on Tuesdays.
Yep.
And March 1st last year, Lawton said 14 million times 8 on Draisaitl. Okay?
Yep.
He also expressed a belief that there's no guarantee Rantanen was getting done in Colorado, and this was in the fall.
Yep.
2 years ago, and a year ago, he said the Oilers shouldn't have stopped at Ekholm. They should try to get McDonough too. Okay?
Yeah.
Ryan McDonough is, first of all, he was a plus player the last 2 years in Nashville on just so-so teams. I mean, Nashville had a great second half last year. He's plus 42. He's been the exact fit Tampa has needed on that D. And then the other guy that he was wanting, he kept on talking about in the fall of this year was Cam Fowler, who obviously has really helped St. Louis. But I don't know, maybe somebody should hire that Brian Lawton guy. He seems to get a lot of stuff right.
Then you'd be looking for a better radio guest.
That would be tough to do.
Yeah. So
at least on Tuesdays, it's really hard to find a better radio guest than Brian Lawton.
That's true. There's no question about that. But you know what, Bob? You have to look at it as how does this affect me? And it affects you because you have to find someone to go in the radio.
Well, as long as he's working for us, I'd be happy. And I say us because I work for – no, but it is interesting. Like, I just look at Tampa, and the numbers are ridiculous. Like, they've got the second-best goal differential in the league next to Winnipeg. They didn't get – they're smoking teams down the stretch here. They got a good squad.
They look really good. They lost in Ottawa last week, but I agree with you. They look really good, and they would scare me. But you know what? I think the West, I think, is got a top to bottom better teams. I would say there's more strong teams in the West than there are in the East, but the playoffs are going to be berserk. I just think that first round this year. I'm not always crazy about the playoff setup, Bob.
Yeah.
But the first round this year is going to be insane.
All right, you're in we got to talk about the Canadians because they made more news today, and the guy that they're going to get into their lineup here, they're going to burn a year with, was the guy another team tried to trade for and move up for at the draft. So maybe educate our listeners because you tweeted it out. This is an impactful potential player being added to the mix for Montreal.
So Ivan Demidov, because of his age, his ELC burns. The first year of his contract burns even if he doesn't play. So he is He is coming over. He's signed. And, Bob, this one was out of nowhere. I've been texting people, just every day, hey, just staying on it. What do you think? And as recently as yesterday, there were people telling me this wasn't going to happen. And the one thing I said on the podcast yesterday, Bob, is that when it comes to these players, and, Carolina has a defenseman they're trying to get over, New Jersey has a player they're trying to get over. The challenge with Russia is that what's true now might not be true in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And things really change. And that's what happened here. Yesterday, people didn't think this was going to happen. And then today, all of a sudden, it happened. And he's a real talent. He is, the only reason I think he dropped to 5 was really because of the Russian factor. And nobody was really sure. I've known people who've gone to see him play, and they said to me, this guy is an absolute stud. And, we'll see. I'm hearing the buzz in the press boxes. He could play next week. So, people are expecting an immediate impact. It's a lot, but this is a really, really talented kid. Really talented.
How awesome would it be for NHL Hockey and Rogers and Sportsnet? You'd have, 5 Canadian teams in the play?
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, and Calgary, Calgary, they could win tomorrow. They play Anaheim. Yeah. And then they play Minnesota on Friday. They have to win tomorrow.
They got to win. They got to win every game.
Regulation, yes. So there's some of us who are not giving up on the dream of 6, but we'll take 5.
Well,
very happily. We'll really be greedy, Bob, and we'll ask for a Battle of Ontario too.
Yeah, they signed Zane Parekh, who should have been on the Canadian World Junior team. We discussed that before. This is another back-to-back 30-goal seasons in the OHL. This guy's a
7 points.
Gifted guy. So
yeah, really talented player.
You passed along some sad news about you feel terrible for the kid, but a Winnipeg Jets prospect.
Yeah, Chaz Lucius. He had not been playing a ton, and there had been some rumors that there was something that was going to prevent him from playing. And about 45 minutes ago, Chad Lucius officially announced it. It's called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and basically what it is it makes the connective tissue throughout your body. It just isn't strong enough to withstand the kind of contact that pro sports delivers. And it's really a shame. He's a young kid. He's 21 years old. But I will say this: I read his statement, and there was one thing I really liked that he said, and that was that Mike Keane, the former captain of the Canadiens and the Avalanche, would check in on him whether he was playing or not, just like, how you doing? And that's the tough thing when you're 21 years old and this is basically all you've done in your life, and now it's kind of taken away from you. It's really tough. So I wish him the best, and I really respect that Mike Keane was someone who was constantly just checking in on him.
All right, 2 quick hitters for you. We'll start NCAA Frozen 4 this weekend. Guy Godowski's a friend of the show. He centered me with the South Side back in the day. His son, Matt Godowski, is in the transfer portal. He will get I believe he'll be a guy that gets an NHL. He was up for the Hobie Baker this year. He was at Army, and I believe that there's going to be teams in on him in a year from now. So Penn State's a bit of a long shot against BU, but you got some traditional powers there. BU, Denver, and then you got Western Michigan. That's Andy Murray's old school. And then you've got Penn State. Who do you see? Any predictions?
Do you ever pick against Denver in this thing?
No.
Who's picking against David Carr?
I'm not picking against Denver. No way.
Well, and two, their captain, King, there's a few teams waiting to sign him, and I know there's a lot of talk he's going to end up in Calgary. We'll see. But there's been a few teams, and even their goalie, Davis, is another one.
Yeah, he's had a great year.
You were talking about him last week, but King, who's the Denver captain, there's definitely going to be a lot of focus on him. Teams are watching. And also, David Carl himself. There are teams that want to talk to this guy. And we'll see how he decides to handle everything. He's made it very clear he's not leaving unless he considers the situation excellent. And, you know, I think the average, I wrote this earlier this year, Bob, I think the average first-year coach makes $1.2 million.
Yep.
That's not going to get it done for him. So you're going to have to do more for him than most first-year coaches get.
All right, and one final one for you. Great theater on the weekend with Alexander Ovechkin. He breaks Wayne Gretzky's record. Wonderful speech, by the way, by Wayne. But I want to spin this a different way. Connor McDavid, can he become the second player in NHL history to get to 2,000 points? What do you think?
What are you going to bet against him? I mean, the only thing I ever wonder about is health, right?
Yeah.
And you know, to me, that's the only question. But you know, I think the thing about McDavid, the more time I've had a chance to spend around him, the more I realize like he is just driven to win. All right. Yeah. But it's even more than you realize, right? Like it's even more than you realize. And the thing is, like, I think he will sacrifice personal goals to get team goals. But the thing is, for the team to be great, he's going to do incredible personal things. So who would bet against him?
Yeah. Enjoy the game today, Elliotte. Thank you for joining us on Oilers Now.
All right, Bob. Speak to you next week.
You bet.